Hey guys, so I bought this Skil 12 volt brushless rechargeable circular saw. So I was actually pretty surprised by the price of this saw. It was well under the $100 range at the time that I bought it, and for that price I figured I'd check it out. Alright, let's take a look at this battery. This saw comes with a 4 amp hour 12 volt battery, and you can tell it is smaller than a 20 volt 4 amp hour battery. Comes with a charger that's bigger than I thought it would be, and actually a decent little carbide tipped wood blade, 5.5 inches. So I'm actually going to be comparing this saw to this old Drill Master one that I have. That's an 18 volt. It was NiCad, but I upgraded it to lithium ion 20 volt. If you're interested in how to do that, I have another video which I'll link below on how to upgrade your old saw's battery. This one's also a 5.5 inch one. Battery's a little cold. It's cold outside. We'll warm them up before we test them. But I will be comparing it to that in some aspects. Let's take a look at this real quick. So it is some sort of polymer, kind of the standard that you get in the tools these days. It's not like a cheap one like you'd think it would be. It's similar plastic as you'd find in DeWalt. Some sort of glass-filled polymer or something. The blade guard is just a regular plastic, which in this Drill Master one, which is even cheaper than this one, it's the same. But one thing I was surprised is this, the over the blade guard is also a polymer. Usually these are metal. The polymers have gotten better, so it's probably fine, and it also saves on weight. Oh. This is an easy adjust one, so you can move the depth of the cut and then you just push down. This is similar to my DeWalt circular saw. To adjust the angle, you just undo this like that. Also, you can, if you have a little jig arm, you can slide it in there and tighten that down. All right, let's get the blade on. You will need an Allen wrench to install the blade. Careful now, my kid has been messing with my tools apparently. Oh, it does have a lock button to lock the motor. You can untighten this Allen wrench bolt here, or loosen, I guess, if you want to call it that. It is opposite threaded, so don't think you're going crazy. And it does have arrows which direction it spins. So make sure you put the blade on, go in the right direction. It spins in the way that these things are kind of pointed towards here. There we go. Put the battery in it and see. I really like actually how compact this thing is. The battery, not, even though it's 4 amp hours, not being super huge because it's 12 volts, makes this thing pretty convenient. Oh, it comes with an Allen wrench. I didn't even see that. All right, let's see how it goes. I'm going to install this charger on my wall and get this thing plugged in, make sure it's all the way charged up, and then we'll run it through some tests. I'm working on a house currently, and I'm going to use this for some things that I'm doing over there, and you'll get to see kind of how it performs over the next few days. So stick around. All right, we got this freshly charged. Let's cut through a standard 2x4 and see how it does. See how fast it is. That was a little smoother than I was expecting. All right, let's compare the time of that to this older one. Now remember, this one's about 15 years old, but it is upgraded to lithium ion 20 volts. Well, this one barely gets the depth that this one does because of the design difference. And also, you can tell that it just doesn't quite have the oomph that the brushless motor does. Another thing that's different about the older one is the blades on the outside, and on the newer one, the blades on the inside, which actually lets you kind of see where you're cutting a little bit better and keep track of that. So the Skil is a lot better in my opinion. Let's do another one just to see what it's like again. Yeah, it doesn't even compare. By the way, if you're interested in seeing an unboxing and review of this Delta table saw, go down below, hit subscribe. I'm gonna have that upcoming for you. So this is the PWRCore 12 battery from the saw. It has a button you can push here that you can see what the power level's at, and then you can also plug in USB items to it. The 12 volt 4 amp hour battery, and this is the 20 volt 4 amp hour battery from Skil, which I actually have this one because I'm going to be testing this chonky boy later on. It's their mid-torque impact wrench, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and hit a subscribe and you can be notified when that comes out. But you can see that these batteries are, the 12 volt one is significantly smaller than the 20 volt one. If you look from the side and the front there, it's a lot lighter and low profile than the 20 volt one. So it may be more convenient for you if you only use stuff occasionally. Alright guys, so I've used this saw a bunch on a house that I'm doing some fix-up work on. I've been doing some things like replacing subflooring and building a window casement and putting in showers. So it's actually gotten a lot of work, and I've been really surprised about how long the battery lasts and actually how well it cuts. Again, it's 12 volts, so I didn't expect much, and when I initially started going to work on this house, I would bring my DeWalt corded saw as a backup because I didn't expect the battery on this thing to last very long, making a bunch of cuts. But it actually lasted pretty long, and with the amount of cuts that I was making, I didn't have to use my backup saw at all on any particular day. That's just really surprised me. I've been really happy about the battery's ability. I've also been happy with its ability to cut. It does a really good job. It doesn't really have any issues. I've done rip cuts with it, like all the way down the length of a 2x6. It made the cut. It did what I needed it to do. Is it as fast as using my good old DeWalt corded saw? No, but that's got a lot more power than this thing does. A lot more power than most batteried tools do. So for what it is, it's more than acceptable in my opinion. Actually, I found it pretty convenient. And its small form factor meant that I could make some cuts with it that were more difficult with some of my larger circular saws. Now, as I said, the last couple times I used this, I used it for a whole bunch of cuts, and I didn't recharge it since then, and it's actually sat out in my garage in sub-zero weather for a month plus, being uncharged and having been used. And the battery is down to 2 bars, and I need to cut up these 4 pallets. So I'm going to start cutting them up, see if I can get the battery to go down to 0 because I want to test. This has a power jump feature, which once the batteries run down, you can put it on the charger and charge it for 5 minutes, and you'll get 25% of your power back and be able to continue working at least for a bit. So 5 minutes to get up to 25% power, and then 45 minutes to get back up to 100% power. So I want to test the 5 minutes thing and see if we can get this down to 0, charge it for 5 minutes, and then if we have cuts left to make, see how many more cuts it'll make. I should mention that these pallets are all oak with a little bit of hardwood thrown in. That's crazy. It's been on 1 bar most of this time, and it still just keeps going. All right, we're gonna call that done and try jump charging it here. All right, so here we go. Okay guys, so I actually made a mistake on the jump charging. I realized that when I put the footage in and was editing it, and it actually took around 10 minutes to recharge it to where that light went off. Turns out that that wasn't the right way to jump charge it, so in order to give it a fair shake, I need to do it right. But in order to do that, now I need to burn this battery out since I just charged it. It's at 1 bar. There, it died, so we're gonna count that as out. Okay, so you plug the battery in, it's gonna analyze it, and if that jump charge light comes on, then it's ready to jump charge. And this is actually a button too, so in order to jump charge it, you have to manually make it jump charge it. So you hit the button, and then it starts flashing green there and saying it's jump charging, and we'll see how long that's gonna take. Well, the light's on solid, so I'm assuming that means it's just regular charging now. So let's see how many bars it has. Doesn't feel warm or anything like I thought it would. It actually has 2 bars now, and it was all the way down. So my final thoughts on this saw. As you heard me say, I was super happy with the performance and the convenience of it. And honestly, I will probably be using this just as an ongoing test, primarily for any sort of construction cuts that I have in dimensional lumber. So go ahead and subscribe below if you want to get any updates. If there are any further issues or anything, I'll let you guys know. My one thing that I don't really like about the saw is, so it's got an LED in here that shines. If there's low light, you're supposed to be able to see your cut. But where the LED shines is on the blade. And you really shouldn't be looking at the blade for where your cut is. You should be looking at the 0 mark on the shoe. And it doesn't light up the 0 mark. So when I was outside, I was having to hold a flashlight to see where my cut was going to be because the LED is just in the wrong spot. But other than that, it definitely outperformed my expectations, and I'm kind of excited about this PWRCore 12 system, and I intend on trying out several more of these PWRCore 12 from Skil just to see how they perform with their respective tools. So again, hit subscribe if you want to see those. I've already actually ordered the oscillating tool and their little drill that they have. So I'm going to check those out and do reviews on them as well. For the price that you can get this thing, I just really don't think you can beat it. I mean, even the fact that it comes with the 4 amp hour battery for that price. A lot of these little ones come with the 2 amp hour batteries. and then you have to buy a 4 amp hour battery if you want to get serious about cutting things. Well, I hope you found this review useful. If you did, please go down below, hit a thumbs up, leave a comment, tell me what tools you'd like me to test, whether it be from Skil or any other brand. I'm open to different things. Also, as I might have mentioned, there's a link for this down below on Amazon. If you'd like to support the channel, that's one way to do it, is purchasing through the Amazon link. It doesn't give me a lot, but it gives me enough to put some money back into getting things like this. That's where I get the money to do this from. And at this moment, I put everything that I get right back into it, which isn't that much, but I do what I can. So